even matters what's about to happen for these 4 quarters or more. Everything we want is still right here. You gotta go take it.
The autumn wind is a pirate, blustering in from sea. With a rollicking song he sweeps along, swaggering boisterously. His face is weather-beaten. He wears a hooded sash, with a silver hat about his head, and a bristling black mustache. He growls as he storms the country, a villain big and bold. And the trees all shake and quiver and quake as he robs them of their gold. The autumn wind is a raider, pillaging just for fun. He'll knock you round and upside down and laugh when he's conquered and won.
The Las Vegas Raiders defense has made clutch stops and given the offense the ball back with a chance to win in 6 of their 7 losses. But I'm telling you, that doesn't mean they played well. They're number 27 in yards, number 26 in scoring, number 30 in pass defense, and number 14 in run defense. They haven't been bend but don't break either, because they're number 28 in the red zone and number 31 in turnovers. After making critical errors earlier in the season, the offense has come around and is in the top 10 in just about every category. In Week 13 against the Los Angeles Chargers, the defense shows they're coming around too. They've always had parts of that defense that are really good, but they've also had parts that have been majorly disappointing. Parts that are just getting opportunities, parts that are just returning from injuries, and parts that weren't here until recently. And guess what? The parts are all coming together. That's how the Raiders held boy wonder quarterback Justin Herbert to just 13 points in Week 13. The defense is coming around just like the offense has. They've come such a long way. Let's take a look at where they are versus where they were against the Chargers. You guys remember this, right? Week 1 when the Raiders played the Chargers. In the mid to later part of the game, middle linebacker Denzel Perryman limped off with an ankle injury. Divine Diablo then moved over and replaced him, and the Raiders were still good against the run. Diablo made his plays, as did Jayon Brown. Andrew Billings is a beast in the middle of that defensive line. Max Crosby sets one edge very well. And Chandler Jones sets the other edge very well. So when healthy, the Raiders are a top 10 run defense. And they're healthy now with Perryman in the middle making plays. Chandler Jones is still setting his edge. Sorry, Max Crosby's the one I meant to mark here. He has the opposite edge. The Raiders have recently added Jerry Tillery to the interior of that defensive line. Trayvon Merritt, coming from the left of your screen, does his work in the box. And my guy, undrafted free agent Isaiah Palomar, was getting his opportunities to put in his work. So no changes there. The Raider run defense is still good. Another thing the Raider defense has always been able to do is get after quarterback Justin Herbert. He's gotten to know Crosby pretty well since he's been in the NFL. But when that's all you got rushing the passer, that often leaves lanes for Herbert to escape, especially when Crosby isn't on the field. Yeah, Herbert can take off on you. He can throw on the run too. And he can throw running right or left. That's how he beat the Raiders the first time, but the second time around it was something different. They trapped him, he has nowhere to go. He's gonna end up going right to Chandler Jones, who's disengaging from his man. Oh, and they kept him trapped so he couldn't make his wild plays. Look, nowhere to go again. Perriman's coming from one side and Jones has his man bench pressed, so he's ready to make the play himself. The Raiders didn't sack Herbert in the first game, and they sacked him 5 times in week 13. Oh, Herbert's trapped again. Cleveland Ferrell and Matthew Butler are both beating their men. Alright, here we go with another one. Bam, the edges are closing in and Tillery has his man beat, so Herbert's gonna take this hit. And yes, I do have to mention this sack that didn't count by Max Crosby. Herbert's gonna alertly recover the fumble and advance it just enough to negate it. Defensive coordinator Patrick Graham started dialing up some stuff too. This isn't a blitz because only 4 guys are coming, but the Chargers didn't know which 4. And Polamalu's gonna run Austin Eckler over for this sack. Again, only 4 guys are coming, but the Raiders are gonna confuse the blocking scheme enough to get Polamalu another free run at the quarterback. And I don't know why he stutter steps here, he would have had another sack. Either way, the Raiders punished Herbert. And speaking of punishment, here comes Perriman on a blitz. In week 1, the Raiders had 15 pressures, no sacks, and 1 hit. In week 13, they had 24 pressures, 5 sacks, and 1 hit. The coverage changed from week 1 to week 13 too. The Raiders had corners that could match up with Chargers receivers in week 1. Rock Ya-Sin didn't allow much in coverage, and neither did Nate Hobbs. But that was in man-to-man. The Raider corners aren't that good in zone. So you got it, that zone got picked apart, especially by star Chargers receiver Keenan Allen. I think this play here against the Raiders zone made Allen somehow think that the Raiders were barbecue chicken in man-to-man coverage. That was a zone that Rock Ya-Sin should have been back on. And while Raider corners aren't good in zone, the linebackers and safeties aren't good in man-to-man, particularly in the red zone. Diablo falls asleep on his man in coverage. And safety Roderick Teamer is just no match for his man in coverage. Charger tight end Gerald Everett took him for the touchdown here. Jayon Brown was playing with a pulled hamstring in week 1, so we had to try to play things safe. You can easily tell he was struggling in coverage. And safety Trayvon Merrick was very good in deep coverage and man coverage last year. It was disappointing in man coverage to begin this year. So while the corners were great in man, the linebackers and safeties weren't. So what do you do with that? Now we're in week 13 and Merrick starts off biting on play action. But after that he did a good job. Here he's going to stay with Everett in the scramble drill. The zone instantly turns into man when the quarterback starts running. Pick a man and plaster to him. And Merrick serves up the denial there. Here, Merrick's going to lock up tight end Stoner Smart. Oh, and after missing a few games, Brown is good now. He's going to lock Eckler up here. The denial. Here, Brown's going to take Eckler away when Herbert gets in trouble, so he's going to have to throw it away. With linebackers and safeties holding their own against running backs and tight ends, Graham can now have his corners lock up on receivers. Here's Yasin locking up on Allen. And now Hobbs gets a crack at him. And here they move him into the slot to match him up on Amik Robertson. And he locks him up at first. The Chargers believe in this matchup, so they're going to stick to it. And Robertson's going to hang in there for a while. Here's a deep ball going nowhere. But defensive coordinator Patrick Graham is playing with fire and makes a mistake staying with this matchup. Because eventually that size disadvantage is going to catch up with Robertson. I thought Graham should have had Hobbs stay with Allen and follow him into the slot. The 2022 Raider defense has come a long way. When healthy, they can stop the run. And of course, Max Crosby can rush the passer. And since picking up Tillery on waivers a few weeks ago, the pass rush has gotten better every week. And in week 13, that pass rush was downright scary as Jones has picked it up along with Tillery and Crosby. Oh yeah, and the Raiders have the coverage too. Yasin and Hobbs can lock up guys on the outside, and Robertson can do his thing on the slot. He just can't match up with guys like Allen. It's nice to see Merrick and Brown picking it back up too. I can't wait to see them tonight. Thank you for watching. See you next time.